everyone. Welcome back to Be Better with Susan. I'm sending you good vibes and a great big hug. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a published author of One Arm But Not Unarmed. I'm a happiness coach. I'm a speaker. I'm an entrepreneur. And I absolutely love Now Media and Be Better with Susan. And the main reason is because I'm able to provide a platform to highlight some amazing people with some inspiring stories. That's what it's all about, right, guys? Before I introduce my guest, I would love to introduce today's co-host, my girl, my soul sister, Lo.
Hi.
Lo, tell us about yourself. Tell the audience about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lo, or I go by Lolo. I was raised here in Houston, graduated from U of H. Go Crew.
Woo!
And right now I work at Lux Home Furnishing. So if you ever need furniture staging, let me know. Holler at your girl.
Yes.
And right now I'm doing I started a YouTube channel. So if you are inspired with Vietnamese cuisine, so check me out and just embracing different cultures while I travel.
And I love it. I actually love your show because you have such amazing energy and people are learning how to make Vietnamese cuisine. And, you know, I'm a big foodie. That's my favorite F word, food. So thank you for being here. I wanted to add some new energy to the show. I love you. And we've met a couple of
Almost 8 years.
8 years.
From Austin.
Wow. And when we met, we knew it was like love at first sight. And ever since then, we've confided each other. We're there for each other. And we have a really special relationship. Actually, I call her my soul sister.
Not Social Security, everybody.
Soul sister. So
Yes.
thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
And then I would absolutely love to introduce our guest, Raquel.
Hi, y'all. I first like to give God the glory. Thank you so much for just allowing me to be on your show. Like, I truly appreciate you. You're an amazing person. And you're just like, I love everything about you. So just a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, H-Town where it always goes down, home of the candy pain. But I graduated from Study University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana with a degree in mass communications. I currently work at a local television station in Stafford, Texas, where I'm their producer and their talent. And I also have my own faith-based media company called La Murray Media, where we focus on primarily sharing God's word and highlighting just personal testimonies through exclusive interviews and documentaries. And just like Lo, I literally just started a YouTube series not too long ago where I pretty much share God's word, and it's called From the Script Friday. So I encourage y'all to
From the Script Fridays.
Yes. And so I encourage y'all to follow that and just, I'm excited to be here. And shout out to you because I'm currently producing a documentary on this beautiful queen right here, Suzan Nguyen.
Thank you. And yeah, it was amazing how we connected as well.
Yes.
Why don't you share
Tell us
how we met?
So a funny story, I actually met Sherman at an event that I was working at, and we just instantly connected. He's a wonderful guy, and so when we met, we were just talking business, and he mentioned a wonderful woman in her story, and the person was you. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to meet this girl. Like I need to figure out like how can I share her story because her story was so amazing. Like you're just awesome. So we connected, and we just, first of all, like, you trusted me to do your documentary because I believe at that time somebody else was trying to do a documentary. And when we talked on the phone, we just had that synergy. And ever since then, we've been like, this is my girl right here. So
She gives us some kind of energy, huh?
yes.
Thank you, babe. And yeah, I've had some offers with different documentaries, but I spoke on the phone with you and we had really good synergy. And then we ended up meeting at Starbucks and we had a really long conversation. We had tears, we laughed, and I knew that you were the one to do that. And you've been a part of our lives. She's been filming us and some fun events. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for putting up with us. We've had
Y'all
fun.
had so much fun.
We've had fun. We've had so much fun. And so La Murray Media, tell us a little bit more about that.
Ooh, so honestly, we started off with focusing on videography, photography, and voiceovers, but we kind of like narrowed it down to strictly exclusive interviews and documentaries. And so I wanted to provide a platform for individuals to share their testimonies of them being called by God. A lot of individuals don't, or must I say, there are a lot of companies who who don't think that that's a popular way or popular thing to do. And so I wanted to use that gift and provide that platform for others. And so, yeah, I'm just excited. It's growing and glowing. And yeah, I'm just excited.
Love it. And I love that's how you and I connected. So super grateful for that moment.
Tell us some fun facts about you, Raquel.
Yeah.
I want to know you. You.
Okay, so fun fact about me, I am like a goofy person. I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. Like, I'm one of those corny individuals that I'm the one that's singing in my car loud at the top of my lungs in the shower. I like, just being out and about with people. I'm a very people person. I love to color, not on no childish stuff, but I do love to color. And yeah, like, I'm just a fun person to be around. I like making people laugh. So.
You are. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
And now, Lo, tell me a fun fact about you, babe.
Yes.
At first, it looks like I'm a girly girl, but I'm really an outdoor girl. I love doing tennis. I do snowboarding. Anything that's out in nature, call me.
Yeah.
Count me in.
And you actually take annual snowboarding trips. I see the photos.
Book my trip.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a ton of fun. You should definitely go. They rent a big cabin. They have a ton of fun.
Yeah.
There's a big group as well. And
All from Houston, so in different part of the world too.
Yeah.
So they
love
can
it.
meet us there.
Perfect.
I love it.
Yeah.
I see photos and I'm absolutely like, wow, you're having the time of your life. Okay, so I would love to talk about you and what brings you to the show today. There was a time in your life where you faced some adversity. Why don't you share with us how that looks like?
So my downward spiral honestly started back in May of 2012. I was in college and I was trying to pursue a modeling career, and I was trying to build my portfolio. And so ironically, like, this photographer reached out to me. I'm so sorry. This photographer reached out to me and he wanted to help me build that portfolio. And so I checked him out. I looked at his page and I saw family pictures. I saw pictures with Daddy Bush. So the guy looked legit. I was like, okay, cool. So I just took him up on it and I was just like, okay, let's schedule the photo shoot. And so when I went, I was filling out, detailed paperwork, which was my first mistake. But at that time, I did not realize what I was doing.
Right?
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So we did multiple scenes, and towards the end of the shoot, he tried to come on to me. He tried to approach me like hey, let's go out to dinner. I want to, we should make this more than what this is. And I was just kind of like, no, that's not what I'm here for. I would, appreciate it, just chill. And so he just kept being persistent. So I just got my stuff and left because I felt really, really uncomfortable. And so after that, he still tried to hit me up on my phone. And I was just like, hey, this is not what it was. At that moment, I completely said, forget the portfolio, because I saw that he had another motive. And so I just left it alone. I cut off all communications, and that was that. That was in May of 2012. Just when I thought that situation was handled, here comes October, that fall, and I was at college, and I will never forget this because it was homecoming week, and I was excited. I was pumped. I was like, we're about to go out with our friends. It's a fun week. I literally woke up to an email from that photographer, and it simply said, enjoy, with a smiley face. And I clicked on the link. It was a link attached to it. So when I clicked on the link, it was a YouTube video of a montage of all of the different scenes we did. And at the very end of the clip was a fabricated picture of me that showed like that I was topless or something. It's crazy how people can do stuff with Photoshop. And so it was like me topless, and women have double D titties. As you can see right now, I don't have that. And so when I saw that, I immediately, my heart crumbled to the ground, because I was just like, what is going on? Like, I couldn't even fathom everything that was going on. So I immediately went to Google and just typed my name, Raquel. And that was the first thing that popped up. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I just started to bawl in tears. And I was like, what is going on? So I called him. And first, before I even get to the next point, mind you, I'm at Southern University. I'm on a track scholarship. And so coaches, the NCAA, they look up my times to see how my stats are. So people are constantly looking at my name, and I could have lost my scholarship. And so I was just
a lot of pressure.
It was a lot of pressure. I just couldn't even know. And mind you, I'm keeping this all to myself. My roommates didn't even know what was going on.
And that's very hard as well when you can't speak about it and you're holding it in. That's the worst.
It was very terrible. So I called him up and I was like, what is going on? Have you lost your mind? Why did you do that? And the first thing he told me was, you should have took the opportunity to go out with me when I gave you the chance. And he said, if you want your model release back, you have to pay me $1,000. And I was just like, $1,000? Like, I choked because I was like, I'm in college. I'm still trying to figure out how am I going to pay for my lunch and everything like that. $1,000, where am I going to get this $1,000 from? So I just started to pray, and I just literally thought about a close friend that I literally met at that time. I want to say it was like a few days before that. It's crazy how God would bring somebody in your life and you may not even know what it's for. So I called him up and I just explained to him like, hey, I'm in trouble. Like, I need your help. And I couldn't even get through the sentence without even crying. And I just told him everything what happened. And he put himself in like my shoes, and he thought about his daughters, and he immediately made a few phone calls and he wired the money ASAP, and I got my model release. But when I got the model release, that was just a piece of paper. And it made me think about, how do I not know that this man does not have an external hard drive with fake pictures of me?
Yeah.
How do I not know that he is going to wait 5 years down the line and release that? So I immediately just changed the way that I was moving. I went MIA on Facebook. I changed my name, and I just honestly wanted to disappear off the face of the earth because I was disgusted. I felt that at that moment, my reputation, everything that I just kind of like worked for just was damaged. Like, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. Like,
that makes me so sad, and we're actually going to hold that thought, please.
Yes.
We're going to hear from our sponsors, and we're going to be right back. Okay?
Stay tuned.
Okay.
Si usted es agente de bienes raíces y está buscando una compañía confiable para limpieza para mantener sus casas de venta o renta impecables, Sierra Cleaning Services es su solución. Con más de 15 años de experiencia, Sierra Cleaning Services ha sido la compañía preferida por los agentes de bienes raíces en Houston, Katy, Cinco Ranch, Cypress y Woodlands. Sierra Cleaning Services ofrece limpieza residencial, comercial y de oficinas, remoción de escombros durante todas las fases de proyectos de construcción, aseo de casas y oficinas antes y después de ser habitadas. Llame a Alfredo Sierra y permita que Sierra Cleaning Services sea su aliado en su proyecto de limpieza.
Hello, I'm Jose Hernandez, retired NASA astronaut, entrepreneur, and proud son of migrant farm workers. Our migrant families do very important work. Many follow the harvest and move frequently throughout the U.S. and thus have many needs. One way to improve your family's future is by participating in the 2020 census. The census only occurs every 10 years, but it affects public funding for clinics, schools, and other essential programs for our communities. Each person must be counted at the address where they live the most during the year. However, if you move frequently, don't worry. Simply fill out your questionnaire where you are living on April 1st, 2020. The information you provide is confidential and is not shared with other government organizations. The future of our families depends on you. So make yourself count before July 31st. For more information, visit the website 2020census.gov.
Our nation is being seriously affected, not only emotionally, but also clinically. Parents or guardians dealing with a teenager in crisis that require transport to an appropriate treatment facility makes that decision even more difficult. My Armor Services Transport is here to help. Their agents are personal protection officers and private investigators, state certified and trained to accommodate firm boundaries and de-escalations, all while recognizing your loved one's sense of individuality and dignity. Most times your loved one will not respond favorably to being placed in a treatment program. Positive and safe transportation assistance becomes critical when violent or defiant behavior to a placement is anticipated. My Armor Services Transport understands this is a difficult time for you and your family. They are committed to transporting your loved one with dignity, respect, securely, and with compassion. Let them assist with this heavy burden. Call today at 1-800-341-0919 and let My Armor Services Transport be the first strong step you take toward resolving this difficult and complicated issue.
Thank you so much for tuning back in to Be Better with Suzan. And I have Raquel in studio. I have Lo as my co-host. So let's go back to your story.
Okay, so in all honesty, like, words can't describe how I felt. I was literally like trying to get ready for class. This was the first thing that I saw, just waking up, and the fact that I was plastered and that body wasn't even mine. You know, I just didn't understand how could somebody be so, sorry to say this, but sick in the head to want to do something like that just because you didn't get satisfaction because I didn't want to go out with you. I didn't understand what that problem was. Like, why would you want to tarnish my career? And so just kind of piggybacking off of, you know, thanking God I had somebody in my life that really saw themselves and put their daughters in my shoes as if somebody was, you know, just attacking their character. I was able to, like, you know, retrieve my model release back. And honestly, that led me to just acting out. You know, mind you, I went MIA on Facebook. I wanted to just disappear off the face of the earth, and I wanted to get rid of myself internally, but it still didn't take away of the fact that I still had to be at school. I still had to go to track practice. I still had to, you know, just be around my friends, act like nothing was going on because I didn't tell anyone at that time.
That's what I was going to ask you. Who did you share it with any of your girlfriends? Because during this time you were in college, because there's a lot must be going on through your head.
It was a lot. There was a lot of stuff going on because I was actually in a relationship at the time, and I was in a relationship with this guy. He was an artist, and he was actually in LA. And I don't want to say the show that he was actually on.
That's fine.
Because he was telling me, you know, just stuff already in my head, like, you need to make sure that when you go to college, you don't have anything come out, because if something was to happen, if you were like in the tabloids, or I don't want anything to tarnish my career. So that was immediately going through my mind, like, how do I not know that somebody didn't already snatch this link? How do I not know that this is damaging something? So that was one thing that was on my mind. And so I didn't even tell him at that time that happened. The only person that I told was my sister. And because she was at college with me, and she was just kind of like taken by it, and she honestly couldn't believe what was going on. So that led me into just acting a fool. Like, I literally was trying to ignore the real issue that was going on inside of me. There would be times when I was in class and I was crying because it made me feel paranoid. How do I not know if somebody was looking at me? How do I not know that they didn't see that link? What are they really looking at? It just kept replaying in my head. And, you know, you always think about individuals who have been a part of the, you know, the Army, who are a veteran. They may have slight PTSD or whatever. Anybody can have PTSD. Anybody can go through that traumatic experience over and over again, like, it's somebody looking at me, and it makes you psych yourself out. It makes you feel like you're crazy.
Absolutely.
When was the turning point for you? When did you realize this is the turning point?
When I thought that I was kind of, you know, the year went by. That was my sophomore of my fall year. And so that whole year went by, and I was, you know, just acting out. And then my junior year came up.
What do you mean by acting out? What were you doing that you consider acting out at that age? Because during that time you were in college, right? So what was that?
I was living it up. Like, I was partying. Like, I would go out to New Orleans because I went to college in Baton Rouge. I would go to New Orleans with my girls, come back, be in class the next day, like, you know, like,
pulling all-nighter.
Pulling all-nighter. But one thing I did not let slip was my grades, though. Honestly, I did not let that slip, but I was acting out, indulging in stuff that I had no business indulging in, you know, drugs, alcohol.
To distract yourself from the pain.
Exactly.
Right?
Really distracted myself. So I went through that roller coaster, and as I kind of was climbing out of that rabbit hole I felt like I just fell in, it was my senior year of running track, and my coach called me into his office. And just when I thought that situation was over and I was able to kind of sweep it under the rug, you know how sometimes we sweep stuff under the rug? My coach called me into his office, and he shows me this envelope, and he just pretty much just said, here, this is what happened. So what happened was somebody came and personally delivered an envelope to the athletic director's mailbox. And it was an envelope of a letter.
As a letter, okay.
And some pictures that were printed out that were just fabricated pictures of myself. And I actually have like a picture of the letter, and I want to actually read it if you don't mind.
Is this the same letter that you sent to our producer?
Yes, it's the same exact letter.
So you actually have the letter, and we can show it to you guys as well, and then you can go ahead and read that.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it was there were a few misspelled words in the midst of this letter, because it's almost like a 10-year-old wrote this letter. It says, to Tremaine Wright, which is our head coach at that time. My daughter is a senior in high school, and we are searching for a school to send our daughter to. We are deeply saddened to say that she will not be attending Southern due to the fact that you've had multiple sprinters in the past that were all over the internet doing lingerie modeling. Here's a few pics that we've been holding on to. Your sprinter, Raquel Sims, mind you, my name was in bold, and it says, Raquel have more nude pics, but it appears that she has removed them from sites that we saw them on. It was supposed to say saw, but it says say. And it says track and field is a small community and everyone is connected, which is how we learned of this. And pictures were attached to it, and so immediately, like, it took me back to that same exact moment where I looked at the link and I was just like, how can this even happen? Like, I felt so just disgusted with myself, violated. And not only, and my coach handed me the envelope and he said, handle it. By the grace of God, I'm happy that he did not kick me off of the team. And because that made that college look bad. That mother didn't want to send her daughter there, or
you're representing that college, but
we don't exactly who. It seemed like it was somebody acting like somebody's mom. It seemed like this was a personal attack, and my coach told me to handle it, and I took that envelope. But with me even taking the envelope and him telling me to handle it, that didn't do anything. All that did was make me feel like, how dare him, make me feel low to the ground. My self-esteem was low to the ground, like somebody was kicking rocks with my self-esteem, because there I was publicly humiliated, what I feared, in front of my coach and the athletic director of the college.
And the thing is, this picture isn't even you.
Exactly.
It's not even
It
you
has
in
my
this
face
picture.
on it, but it's not me. And this was right before I was about to compete in the championships for track. And so that immediately sent me into like another downward spiral.
Absolutely.
Because, just think about it. Like, even though I could just take him to court, even though I have the modeling release, the moment that something is released in the world that we live in today, in a matter of seconds, there's screenshots going on, 10 screenshots are taken. And so I was always afraid for that to surface, and that's exactly what happened. And I didn't even want to be in front of a camera anymore. I didn't want to be here.
Well, I am so glad that you're here sharing your story, and I cannot imagine how you were feeling. That's a mix of emotions. You had so much going on, so many different responsibilities, championship and school, and trying to maintain this facade of everything's going well, things are okay, and you don't even have an outlet to speak on. So my heart goes out to you. It really does. I'd like to circle back. Lo asked a great question. What was the turning point? But before that, what were the factors that were contributing to your situation?
The bad factors was the fact that I lost myself. I became toxic to who I was. I was talking down to myself, saying, you're nothing. I almost said the S word, but you're nothing. You're the scum of the earth. No man would ever want to be with you. If that link was to ever pop out, who would want to be with you?
You're so young at that age.
It was just, it sent me into a constant spiral of just turmoil. And, suicidal thoughts came to my head. Why am I even here? How can I pursue my dreams of being on camera? Because at that time I was studying mass communications and I wanted to be an anchor. I wanted to be a television host. And how can I be on camera? I always had that fear that same situation, that one thing was going to come to the surface and it was going to tarnish my career. And so just when it comes to just the turning point of what happened, once I saw myself getting lost in that situation and saw that all of the dreams, all of the aspirations that I had in mind, it completely went away. And I didn't know who I was anymore. I entered into toxic relationships because I was so toxic to myself and didn't even realize it. I allowed men to misuse me, to physically and mentally abuse me because I didn't have the true value of who I was. I didn't realize that I was a prize. I didn't realize that, I was worthy at that time.
Self-worth.
I just let anything go because I was like, well, what do I have to lose? Because that same thought, how do I not know that that wasn't going to resurface? Yeah. And so I'm sorry.
No, please.
It just makes me think about how just the enemy was after my life so bad, and he had tried to attack me in those toxic relationships. And it wasn't until I was like literally getting beat in the head with beat in the head with a shoe in a relationship, and I was eating it up like that was normal.
The norm.
That's what you knew.
That I was just like, okay, something is wrong. And it wasn't until I fell flat on my face, that's when I started to honestly just seek after God like no other. Like I literally started to develop an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's when I knew that everything that I was going through in college, everything that I was going through after college, because this turmoil, this downward spiral didn't just last when I was in college. It lasted after college. It lasted years and years of me just beating myself up, allowing me to just eat the punches and digging myself in just a hole. And so once I realized that everything that I was going through was a simple attack from the enemy, he was trying to stop me from walking in my calling. He was trying to stop me from being a vessel for women, sharing my story. He was trying to stop me from being the woman that God had called me to be. And so I just give God the glory right now for allowing me to just come through and just be able to be here and looking at y'all right now and seeing that mess turn into a message and seeing that battle scar turn into a beauty mark. And I'm just at a loss for words.
Thanks
honestly.
for sharing your story too.
It's amazing.
It's an experience that I didn't go through, but being in college at that age, I don't know what I would like in that situation. I don't know what to do because that's just there's so much pressure getting your GPA right and
Being a female.
yeah. And then not able to share it with anybody, it's really
tough.
and for you to just distract yourself with all these toxic things, I just don't know I don't know.
Yeah,
It must be hard.
It's heartbreaking to hear your story, and I definitely want to talk more about that. In a couple of minutes, we're gonna hear from our sponsors, and then I'd love to circle back and just to learn more. But I really want you to know that we are so proud that you're here, and I love what you said, turning your mess into a message, and you're going to impact so many people, and I appreciate you. And I was getting emotional hearing your story, just putting myself in that position, and you were so strong and you're so resilient, and you've made it here. You're beautiful.
I'm gonna cry.
And yeah,
Don't.
yeah, let it out. Let it out. It's healthy for you. Yeah.
What would you want people to know from your experience? Like, how can girls or any female in that situation, because in this society we live in now, 2020, it's all about message, computer, technology, and it will just come out of nowhere. What would your experience you want to share with the viewers?
I would honestly say that, do your research, just because an opportunity may come along, like, oh, this modeling gig, because there are a lot of like fraudulent people out there that just want to get women behind the camera and they just want to get them in a position and break their character down. And so they have no choice but to say yes. They have no choice but to feed in to the society. And it's honestly sad. Like, I didn't even think I was going to mention this today, but it's honestly sad. the society that we do live in today, and the normalization of women, and the fact that they've lowered their standards in how they carry themselves, the things that they wear, and just how they just allow the norms to just take over them. And you know, because just think about it, like for instance, like, hopefully we can say this, hopefully I'm not breaking the rules, but when it comes to just like back in the day when stripping was something that was talked about, like just very whispers, you know, you just really didn't know much about that. And here we are in 2020, and women are glorifying that.
Yeah.
Men are glorifying that. And I feel sad because it tarnishes, you know, how a woman is supposed to carry themselves, that class that we're supposed to have, you know, what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to act, and, you know, be a lady. You know, you can have fun and stuff like that, but there's a level of just embracing your femininity and being who you are, and being a woman that has class, and not allowing your standards to be low, because that's where these men get the ammunition to act the way they act, and trigger, and then make people feel like, oh, I could talk to her this way, because they allow that in certain areas, in certain songs. So just kind of touching on that.
Don't trust everyone.
Yeah, and just because it looks like a good idea does not mean it's God's idea. Include him in the process. And if you are signing something and there's like so much information on the paper, you can't even dissect it, and they're asking you for information, don't be afraid to walk away and say no, like, I'm not signing this, and trust and have faith that God will send another photographer, another videographer, someone else in your life that has your best interest. Because once something is captured, videography-wise, photography-wise, it's forever.
Yeah.
And so
you're right. I feel like, you know, being in a young age and thinking you have this wonderful opportunity, we're excited, we're like, let's sign it, let's do it.
Yeah.
But also, it's important to make sure you have someone you trust go over the paperwork and check it once, check it twice, check it 3 times, get a fresh pair of eyes on it as well. And also, you said that if it is meant for you, something else will come along.
Yes.
If it's not that photographer, another one will come along, a better one, a more legit one, someone more trustworthy, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to hear from our wonderful sponsors, and then we'll be back with Raquel and her amazing story from, what is your title? Remember the title you gave me?
From Battle Scars to Beauty Marks.
To Beauty Marks. I love that. And we'll be right back, guys.
Si usted es agente de bienes raíces y está buscando una compañía confiable para limpieza para mantener sus casas de venta o renta impecables, Sierra Cleaning Services es su solución. Con más de 15 años de experiencia, Sierra Cleaning Services ha sido la compañía preferida por los agentes de bienes raíces en Houston, Katy, Cinco Ranch, Cypress y Woodlands. Sierra Cleaning Services ofrece limpieza residencial, comercial y de oficinas, remoción de escombros durante todas las fases de proyectos de construcción, aseo de casas y oficinas antes y después de ser habitadas. Llame a Alfredo Sierra y permita que Sierra Cleaning Services sea su aliado en su proyecto de limpieza. The right tax team is key to any successful business. At America's Tax Firm, our goal is to help individuals and businesses of all sizes with accounting solutions and tax strategies that yield profitability, sustainability, and growth. At America's Tax Firm, we have a team of experienced tax consultants and advisors that can help your company optimize business strategies to minimize taxes and reduce liabilities. From preparing and filing your personal or business taxes, or choosing the right legal structure for your business, to resolving complex tax issues with the IRS, America's Tax Firm is your turnkey solution. Take a strong and decisive step and let America's Tax Firm be part of your success.
this digital age, conventional business cards are a thing of the past. In fact, most people lose them in minutes of having received them. The Now Media Video Business Card is recorded with cutting-edge technology designed to be sent out quickly and easily using your smartphone. It features your contact information, summary of all your company's products and services, as well as giving you a fresh and innovative look. Hundreds of companies are already seeing the difference. Call us at 832-384-9588.
Our nation is being seriously affected, not only emotionally, but also clinically. Parents or guardians dealing with a teenager in crisis that require transport to an appropriate treatment facility makes that decision even more difficult. My Armor Services Transport is here to help. Their agents are personal protection officers and private investigators, state certified and trained to accommodate firm boundaries and de-escalations, all while recognizing your loved one's sense of individuality and dignity. Most times your loved one will not respond favorably to being placed in a treatment program. Positive and safe transportation assistance becomes critical when violent or defiant behavior to a placement is anticipated. My Armor Services Transport understands this is a difficult time for you and your family. They are committed to transporting your loved one with dignity, respect, securely, and with compassion. Let them assist with this heavy burden. Call today at 1-800-341-0919 and let My Armor Services Transport be the first strong step you take toward resolving this difficult and complicated issue.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Better with Susan. I am loving today's episode. I have Lo to my left as our co-host for the show, and then I have the beautiful and amazing Raquel. Thank you for being our guest and sharing your inspirational story.
Okay. Well, we have some questions from the audience, and we want to know is what made you think that guy was legit? What kind of screening did you do on the profile to make him to see that, oh, he's the legit person that I can sign with this person, or I can go with this guy's instead of other company or contract?
And also to double up, like what does legit look like, right? For others that don't know. That's great.
Honestly, the word legitimacy is just really hard because at that time, since I was kind of young, my screening process at that time was I went to his Facebook page. I saw, the pictures that he did take. He had a picture with Daddy Bush, George Bush's dad. So I was like, how more legit can you be? He had family pictures, and he just seemed like a nice guy. He was an elderly guy, so I had no idea that he was going to come on to me the way that he did. Everything that looked on his page looked clean, looked clear. So I just felt like, okay, he was legit. Now, me speaking right now, if I was to kind of like scout out a photographer or just look for someone, because honestly, anyone could take a picture and slap their watermark on it and claim it and make it theirs. And we really don't know. We have to actually put certain things in place. It'll be great to have a word of mouth. Maybe somebody that like for instance, referrals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone that you can trust
And someone that vouches for that person is extremely important as well.
Is extremely important.
I'm sorry, you were saying it was good.
Because that's exactly how I was thinking. And just going on Google, honestly, and just kind of like typing that photographer in and see if their website comes up. At that time I wasn't on Instagram like that, and I don't even think Instagram was kind of like popping per se.
At that time.
Exactly. So now you have like your Instagram platform, you have your Facebook platform, and you just have people have the websites, and so you should be able to tell. And then honestly, I would set up an initial meeting with them.
That's a good
don't
tip.
Go and just be like, hey, I'm here to shoot. What's going on?
Initial meeting in a public area.
In a public area, not anything secluded. And it's even hard to do stuff over the phone now because somebody can talk a good game, and then when you get in front of them, it's a different story.
Completely different person. It's like catfishing.
Exactly.
It's like catfishing. And earlier you mentioned something that hit home to me, so I'd love to bring that up.
Okay.
You mentioned that you're avoiding the pain and you're drinking and drugging and doing things you shouldn't be indulging in, and because you didn't have an outlet, right?
Yeah.
There's one quote that I would love to share with the the audience, and it resonates with me completely. It should resonate with people that have been through some type of traumatic experience. And it goes, if we do not give the healing the attention it needs, it continues to return for resolution. So that means in different forms: toxic relationship, drinking, drugging, staying up late, maybe spending money on shopping, or whatever ways. That's your outlet, right? That's your cry for help. So I completely resonate with that, because after the loss of my arm, I was doing the same thing. I wasn't vulnerable. I wasn't, ready to speak to anyone. So I was self-medicating. I was escaping my reality, right? So I was doing things I shouldn't be doing. So that breaks my heart to hear that. But I know how that feels. But once again, you are so resilient, and you're here in front of me, and I couldn't be more grateful for you sharing this story, because we both know it's not easy.
It's not easy. No.
It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. And as I was, just thinking about this interview, and just, I took myself back to that moment when I was in college, and I was just trying to figure out, what was it? What did I do wrong? I kind of started to beat myself up about the things that I just got myself involved in. And as I'm sitting here right now and just thinking about all of those elements, to see that the enemy did not want me to get in front of the camera, because he knew that I was going to maybe penetrate the heart of someone else, that there were going to be other women out here that may be facing the same exact thing, and to see that he was trying to break me down mentally and make me feel like I was a scum of the earth, and that honestly, I don't know where I would be if I wasn't able to get over that hump. Like, there will be times where I will be out with my best friend, and we will be drinking and driving, and we will wake up and not even remember, how did we even get here? There were so many times that I could have lost my life and not even realize that you have this calling on your life. You have to get it together. I had to literally,
There's more.
Yeah, it was crazy. I had to resort to just diving into God's word, listening to gospel music, and I had to look at myself in the mirror and reprogram my mind and say that you are beautiful, you are worthy, you have a calling on your life, that God is calling you to just be the best version of yourself.
Yes.
And you cannot do that if you have all of these toxic thoughts in your mind. You can't do that if you're holding it in, because with me holding that in, that just caused me to be rotten on the inside. I was taking anger out on people, you know, and it's just so crazy. Like, I love the energy that we have here. Like, it's like right when I'm about to just break down and cry as I'm telling my story, I look at y'all and I just, see y'all laugh, and it just brightens up my spirit, and it just makes me just, be thankful for, going through that, learning from it, and being able to, like I said earlier, turn this mess into a message.
And now you're here impacting thousands of people with your story, and you are far from all those negative thoughts. And once again, I get that about retraining your brain, right? That was the hardest thing to do, to remind ourselves every day that we're not a certain way. I was thinking I look like a monster and no one's ever going to love me, and I look deformed, and I didn't want to go out in public, and people are looking at me. There was so many toxic thoughts in my mind. As soon as I opened my eyes, I would feel them. I was super emotional, so I get where you're coming from, and I applaud you for really just taking over and controlling your thoughts, retraining your brain, because man, our mind is powerful, right? Whatever we think, whatever we say, those are those automatic negative thoughts that we've spoken about. Those ants, automatic negative thoughts, right? A human being has anywhere from 25 to 60,000 thoughts per day, and 80% are negative. 95% are repetitive. So imagine we're telling ourselves one thing and we're repeating it every other minute of the day. So it's a scary thing. But you know what? I am so grateful that you're sitting here.
And we are here for you too.
Well,
you know
appreciate
that.
Y'all. I really do.
You really are.
Yeah. And, you know, you talk about what you went through and turning your mess into a message, and you're like full circle, and now you're sharing it in front of a camera, which were you were extremely nervous to be in front of as a camera, but now you're here, you're sharing the story. Lowe's opening up a heart. She's learning so much from this as well.
This is also you giving him a payback too, because he would think that from this experience, I would say that you wouldn't from coming out of this, you'd be stronger, and you would share this message with everybody else too. You know, it's really, this is your comeback from him, payback. Because, you know, he doesn't think you're going to be coming out sharing these things and confronting everybody, but this is a great message for you to share for just
It's powerful. It is your comeback and your payback as well, because you're right,
That
right?
part.
Payback and comeback. It's a double up. But no, because you're right. You know, when something bad happens, they have that control over your mind, right? And we're going to continue being nervous or scared. We don't want to talk about it because we're a female and all that good stuff. So it's like we're nervous to be vulnerable, to open up. But guess what? You're doing it now on Now Media, on Be Better with Suzan, and I couldn't be more grateful. So we are going to hear from our wonderful sponsors, and we'll be right back.
The right tax team is key to any successful business. At America's Tax Firm, our goal is to help individuals and businesses of all sizes with accounting solutions and tax strategies that yield profitability, sustainability, and growth. At America's Tax Firm, we have a team of experienced tax consultants and advisors that can help your company optimize business strategies to minimize taxes and reduce liabilities. From preparing and filing your personal or business taxes, or choosing the right legal structure for your business, to resolving complex tax issues with the IRS, America's Tax Firm is your turnkey solution. Take a strong and decisive step and let America's Tax Firm be part of your success.
In this digital age, conventional business cards are a thing of the past. In fact, most people lose them in minutes of having received them. The Now Media Video Business Card is recorded with cutting-edge technology designed to be sent out quickly and easily using your smartphone. It features your contact information, summary of all your company's products and services, as well as giving you a fresh and innovative look. Hundreds of companies are already seeing the difference. Call us at 832-384-9588.
Our nation is being seriously affected, not only emotionally, but also clinically. Parents or guardians dealing with a teenager in crisis that require transport to an appropriate treatment facility makes that decision even more difficult. My Armor Services Transport is here to help. Their agents are personal protection officers and private investigators, state certified and trained to accommodate firm boundaries and de-escalations, all while recognizing your loved one's sense of individuality and dignity. Most times your loved one will not respond favorably to being placed in a treatment program. Positive and safe transportation assistance becomes critical when violent or defiant behavior to a placement is anticipated. My Armor Services Transport understands this is a difficult time for you and your family. They are committed to transporting your loved one with dignity, respect, securely, and with compassion. Let them assist with this heavy burden. Call today at 1-800-341-0919 and let My Armor Services Transport be the first strong step you take toward resolving this difficult and complicated issue.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning back in to Be Better with Suzan. To my left, I have Lo. She's the co-host for today. Wonderful energy, my soul sister. And Raquel, thank you so much. Our special guest, thank you. So this is an amazing story that you're sharing. And we titled it...
From battle scars to beauty marks.
Beauty marks. So we're talking about, we're talking about your modeling that turned into some blackmailing and, you know, the hardship and the adversity you went through. So with this, what you've been sharing, what is the advice that you could give other potential female models to stay away from, to be careful with people,
and to not be an object.
to not be an object, to not take you as collateral?
The main thing is, I would say, know your self-worth. Know what separates a good opportunity from a thirsty opportunity. Don't be so, not thirsty in a bad way. You know, we always have that negative connotation to it, but thirsty in a way of like, I have to get this going. Like, I have to keep up with the world. You know, my favorite. That drive, you know.
But that drive, the drive that's actually not a legitimate drive. You just want to do it because everything's happening on social media, and you want to get more views or get more likes, but just make sure your self-worth and it's genuine.
Yes, and be true to yourself. And it's so funny because, like you said, going with everyone that's on social media, and my favorite Bible verse is Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so you can test and approve what God's perfect will is. And honestly, any advice that I would have to give to anyone, any model or anyone just aspiring this, because men can get blackmailed too. I would definitely want to not like put it in a box and say this is just for women. This is for men too, because you just never know just the negative motives that anyone has. But remember that you are uniquely created, and God did not give us a spirit of fear. And it's important to stay prayed up. It's important to include God in on the forefront of every decision, business decision, working relationships, or just friends, period, because He will not steer you in the wrong direction. And we have to always stay prayed up, because what the enemy will do is he'll peek in your future and he'll see the major moves that you're going to make, the lives that you're going to impact, at, you know, just the magnitude of that. And he hates that. He's a true hater. So what he'll do is try to plant those traps, like the trap he planted for me, and he'll plant those seeds of doubt, discouragement, insecurity, make you feel make you feel like you're not worthy, and
extra weight you only need.
Exactly, like that monkey on your back. But we have to remember that no weapons formed against us can prosper, and we have to hold our head high and walk and step on the devil as we're stepping onto that next level that God is calling us to. And just have the confidence and watch your dreams and your aspirations come to life, and just be mindful. Don't be extra to do everything. Everything that comes into your life, everything that God has planned for you will happen. Don't try to rush the process just because you see this model just booming on Instagram and stuff like that, and you see what she's doing. Just because she's doing that, it may not work for you. You have to stay true to yourself.
And I love that. And you touch on some really great things, because one thing is we're always trying to, you know, naturally, potentially when we're young, compete with others. Oh, she's doing so well, I want to do well too. So I'm going to go ahead and rush this idea or rush this, you know, this deal or what have you. So that's great. And then also self-worth is something that I needed to learn. I'm sure you've learned. And you've learned as well.
For sure.
She's resilient. She's strong. I think we're all learned how much worth that we do have, right? But as a young female for me, it took time for me to learn that, to be completely honest.
What I want to know is, what is the lesson you want people to learn from your experience?
I want people to know that I'm not perfect. You know, I'm human. I make mistakes, and I felt like that was a mistake that I made, but I was able to grow and learn from that mistake. And I also had to, you know, realize that we all have the victory. We are all winners through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And so we had to remember that we have to trust the process. We can't live in, just because we're a part of this world doesn't mean that we have to be of this world. We are in this realm of instant gratification, and we have to understand that we have to trust the blueprint for our life. And I want to leave you with this quote right here, and it was so funny. I want to leave off with Jeremiah 29:11 that reads, For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And I wanted to share that because everyone has a divine calling on their life. Everyone has, struggles that you face with, but it's okay that you go through those struggles because we like to look at it as, gracefully broken. If you weren't able to go through that, you won't be able to be a voice for others. Turn that mess into a message, turn that test into a testimony, so just embrace everything. I gained my joy back. I gained who the person I truly am, and I can say I'm confident now in what I'm doing. I can say that I've been on multiple visual platforms, and I have no doubt, and if he was to put something out there, I'd be like, so what? You're just adding more fire to my testimony, so what's up? Come with it, And
Be better.
Yes.
I love that. And you're absolutely right. Trusting the process,
Yes.
right? We all have trouble with that. We want things to happen at a certain time, want it to happen now.
Yes.
But if it's happening exactly when we want it, I don't think that's the right time because once again, it's going to happen exactly when it should.
Yes.
Not at the time we want, but exactly when it should. And you beat me to it. I wanted to ask you how this experience has made you better, but you said it's made you more confident. Share that again.
It made me more confident. It made me just grow closer to God because without him, it will all fall to pieces. And we have to make sure that we include him on the forefront. I'm telling you, any business decision that I do, I have to include him in. And I'm sitting across from this living testimony of me trusting God and trusting the process. When I met Sherman, and before I met him, I went to this church in Dallas, and they were having a revival. And the pastor came up to me. He said, "You're the one from out of town." And he said, "I see this box. I see this vision that God is sending your way. And it's a box that has the title Grace on it." And I did not know what that meant. And he said it's a big box that has a small box and then a small box and then a small box. It's stuff that's gonna just unfold. And I had no idea what he meant, but it made sense when I had the lunch interview with Sherman. And he told me about you, and he told me about a lot of different things, and I met you, and it just started to unfold. And here I am sitting in front of you now, and I would have never been able to wrap that around my head if I didn't trust God in the process, if I didn't allow him to be the ultimate producer of my life. So I just give him the glory, and because I'm sitting right here in front of y'all beautiful ladies right now.
I am extremely inspired.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I don't want you to think that what happened to you would be a mistake. I would say it's a lesson for you to learn. I think that God put it in, not to say that to you, thank God, but you made you stronger and for you to share it to us. But I wouldn't say it was a mistake because you were young. At that age, I wouldn't know what to do.
Absolutely. You probably handled way better than
I would.
Oh, trust me, I almost caught a case, y'all. I felt like to be, and I was afraid to talk about this because I didn't want anybody to think I was crazy, but I was this close to just sending a crew or somebody. I was about to get real gutter real fast and just send a crew and just demolish everything that was electronic because like I said, how do I not know he doesn't have an external hard drive with that on there? So I had to think about it. I was like, let me not be, crazy. I don't want to be an accessory to anything.
What was the question that go through your mind when you're thinking about doing that bad things to be better? What Suzan would do be better? The better you, what would you do in that situation now?
The better me, I would have done exactly what I did. The old me, if I was on some gutter type stuff, I probably would be in bars right now, So I had to think about my life. I had to think about the reputation that I still had because I feel like my reputation was permanently damaged with him doing that. But I had to kind of look above that and realize that you just shot something at me, you just grazed me, but you didn't penetrate me. You didn't penetrate my soul, and this did nothing but just make me a better person.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, we are about to wrap up. I wanted to tell you how you have completely inspired me. I'm so grateful that you shared your story on this platform. I know it wasn't easy. We've shared some tears. We're all super emotional during it, but thank you so much for sharing your story here with us.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I really appreciate it. It's just you're amazing.
I love you guys. I do.
Too.
You know that. Thank you so much, Lo, for bringing your energy and being a part of.
Thank you for having me.
Hey. You gotta hit that mirror.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm full of gratitude, but I appreciate you for tuning in to Be Better with Suzan. I'm sending you good vibes and a great big hug. Let's be better together.
Yeah.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The Now Media Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The Now Media Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.